Welcome to the Irish in the UK. This week we're visiting the Maggies Centre at the Christies Hospital in Manchester, where they provide wonderful support for people with cancer. We'll also be having some music from the Wild Morpheus band. But first up, we're off to the Wellspring in Stockport, which was established 25 years ago. They provide a wide range of services and meals for the homeless and disadvantaged people.
Well, the charity started in 1991. We've been in this building for about 10 years now. Daily is about 100 to 150 people access the service, so there's no criteria to come to Wellspring at all. You don't have to be anything, so absolutely anyone can come. So there's lots of different people who come with lots of different issues. I mean, we focus some of our services onto like people who are homeless or rough sleeping, so we do lots of referrals to get people off the streets, and we provide lots of engagement with people who are at risk of becoming homeless, so working with those people to stop them from becoming homeless in the first place. It's about making people as independent as possible, so giving people the skills to be independent. So we're supporting a lot of people into employment, getting lots of people onto different training courses or groups or different therapy sessions, addressing things like mental health problems or educational problems.
Tell me about the meals and stuff you provide first of all.
Yeah, so there's a meal service that our volunteers provide, which is free every single day of the year. We kind of see that as the magnet to the project that brings people in through the door, and then our social work team and other members of staff can engage with them in proactive ways. We have a clothing store, we do lots of practical support, so we do, like when we get people accommodation, we'll help them furnish a property, we'll help them get everything in place to make that house a home. You know, it's really important that when you've supported someone who's been homeless into accommodation, that place becomes their home, or else chances are they may become homeless again. We've done numerous different courses over the years. We're always looking to do more, always looking to do add more different educational options for people. We do a lot of things like CV building, confidence building, lots of different courses that are just aimed at increasing people's employability or getting people into work. All our food's donated from businesses, churches, schools, members of the public, from the Stockport community really. So I mean the Wellspring is very much a community funded charity, so it's the community of Stockport that keeps the project going, keeps the project expanding and doing more. But the food is really coming from schools and churches at Harvest Festival time. We have lots of fresh food donated to us. We run our own food bank from here, so we issue lots of food parcels to families and people in need who perhaps can't afford to buy food. We're more or less completely community funded, so we get some very small grants, but really not many at all. So to run the service costs about £250,000 a year, so we have to find that through our own fundraising, or people who do runs for us or sponsored events. They can just go onto our website, set up a page for us and fundraise for us, or just go on our website, which is thewellspring.co.uk, and just make a donation, and we guarantee that any donations made to us will be spent on people in need.
Your remembrance wall, that's something different.
Yeah, it was just it started off as just a nice way to remember people who passed away, and it's sort of built and grown over many years really. And we did a campaign with the Manchester Evening News last year to get the number of people who die on our streets recorded. So it was the wall sort of had the impetus to make the Office of National Statistics actually now produce data on the number of people who pass away on our streets.
Brenden, how long have you been involved with the Wellspring?
For about 29 years. I was asked by the parish priest of St Joseph's Church here in Stockport, whose idea it was to start the Wellspring, if I would form a committee to look into it. And from then it's led to what we have now today. For the first few years we were just a soup kitchen, and we were open a couple of days a week. But after a while some of our visitors asked us advice on how to deal with homelessness and what to do and where to go and who to see. And so we opened more days of the week. We employed staff who could give advice out, and we built up from knowing nothing to what we have now.
Over your period of time here with the Wellspring, Brenden, we've seen a lot of homeless people, and it's getting more all the time. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, of course, there's cutbacks in the government's spending on people who are vulnerable and homeless and so forth. So that's exacerbated the problem. But it's just modern living, the costs of living, the problems that are encountered in living, and it just multiplies. And more people are becoming aware that there is help for them, so our demand on our services does increase. So there's a crying need for help for the vulnerable people. The cross-section of people who are homeless do want to have resources that they can use and utilise and improve their knowledge. So we do offer various courses, as you say. In October will be our 10th anniversary of coming into this new building we're in, and to cater for that we are going to have extra resources given to our visitors. So we're going to have more education, more outreach to them. So we're going to be giving do-it-yourself lessons, we're going to be giving cookery lessons and bakery lessons, and we already give basic English and basic maths.
How do you get your volunteers?
Volunteers mostly are by word of mouth. We do appeal to parishes within Stockport on a sort of a broad basis, so it's all denominations. We do advertise, or we do publicise occasionally our needs, and we go around giving speeches to various groups and schools. So the word gets around, and people are only too willing to come and volunteer with us. And we probably have got between 200 and 250 doing various things that need to keep an organisation like ours going.
My name's Dr. Shanu Asmi, and I'm a director here at Mastercall, and we recognise that the homeless population here in Stockport were really having difficulty in accessing primary care, and were often using secondary care as their original source of GP stroke medical advice. So what we've decided to do is put in place primary medical services here a number of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, to give homeless people, vulnerable adults, access to speak to a GP, have investigations done, examinations done, referral to ancillary services, because we recognise that they have a greater need than most. Often they've had a poor experience in trying to contact medical services in the past, so you have to develop a relationship. When I first started here, they were a bit unsure, they didn't know who I was and what I do, and then now we're almost on sort of first name terms, and they recognise me as part of the team. So now, most of the time, most of them will come in if they don't feel well, or they'll just come in for a chat and say, can I just discuss this with you, because I've not been able to access my own GP, and then we'll just go through what their concerns are, and then try and see whether we can alleviate some of their worries or illnesses. We can prescribe, and I'll often prescribe and give people a prescription to go to a local chemist to pick up medication. I also have some emergency supplies of essential drugs here with me, which I can give straight away if necessary. We have a regular open surgery twice a week for 2 hours. In addition to that, the volunteers here know that Mastercall is not far, it's a couple of miles down the road, so if they have a concern about a patient, they can actually contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if we can't see them here, we would be happy to pick them up, and then they come to our out-of-hours centre, and we would see them there and try and refer them on if necessary, or treat them if we can.
I'm the Deputy Manager here at the Wellspring, and I do a combination of different roles. Part of my role is to support the service users that are coming into the project. We are the first people that they meet when they walk through the door. We do a membership form with everybody that comes in, and part of that membership form is also a mini assessment. We find out where people are up to with the housing, if they need a benefit claim, if they are registered with a GP, have they got any mental health support needs. It is literally a little bit of everything, and if we can support, we will do. We support people right from being street homeless right through to being in their own tenancies, and our support continues after that as well. We have a women's group every Friday. Again, it's open to anyone and everyone that wants to come. It starts at 2 o'clock till 4. They have 2 hours. They tend to use the room upstairs. It's nice and quiet. We're shut to the rest of the service users while women's group is on as well, and they do a little bit of everything. They do crafts, they have people coming in, they do first aid courses, they do trips out. It's a really lovely group of ladies that come on a Friday, and it's grown and grown and grown over the years, which is absolutely fantastic. We look forward to coming into work. It's not without its difficulties, and we have difficult days, and it can be emotionally very difficult and draining, but actually it's an absolutely fantastic place to work, and we all absolutely love it.
What a great group of people, and well done to them all at the Wellspring in Stockport. Now we're off for a little break. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back. We're here at the Maggies Centre at the Christies Hospital in Manchester. They provide wonderful support for people with cancer, their families and their friends. Now I'm popping inside to meet Sinead Collins, head of Maggies.
Maggie's Cancer Care Charity started 25 years ago in Edinburgh when Maggie Keswick-Jenks got breast cancer, and she's married to an architect called Charles Jenks. And Charles had written a lot about buildings and how buildings can help people. And when Maggie was given very bad news in a hospital clinic one day, they were asked to move out into the corridor. And they were stuck with nowhere to go, with bad news, very sad news. Didn't want to go home, needed to think, but had nowhere to go. And because of that experience, they decided that using what he knew about buildings and how they can help people, and what she knew about having breast cancer and being told as a young woman that she had 3 months to live and 2 small kids at home, they decided that they would try and raise the money to build a centre for people to go to who are in her position.
And of course, since that, Maggie's has developed, and I believe you've got a lot of centres now.
We opened the first one a year after Maggie died. Laura, who is Maggie's nurse, became the first centre head and left her career in nursing to realise the dream of opening the Maggie Centre. And since then, Laura has stayed with the charity and has opened a further 24 Maggie Centres around the country, and some are abroad.
So for people watching us tonight here in the UK,
yes,
they're dotted all over the country, are they?
Yes, they are. So predominantly in Scotland in the beginning, because that's where Maggie was and that's where Laura was, and it was a Scottish charity. And then started to move into England and Wales. So we have some in London, in Nottingham, Oxford, Cambridge. We're here in Manchester. There's one up the road in Oldham. There's one in Nottingham, Newcastle. We're about to open one in Yorkshire, in Leeds. We have one in Swansea, and we have one in Cardiff. We also have centres abroad as well.
Now tell me what Maggie's provide.
Maggie's provides emotional, practical and social support to people affected by cancer and their family and their friends. So everything that we provide here at Maggies Centres is always free of charge. I think that would be the one thing I would want people to remember, that when you're not working or when you're under pressure, when you come to Maggie's, you'll never be asked to pay for anything, whether that's a cup of tea around the kitchen table with people in your situation, or a conversation with a professional, or a 7-week course with a psychologist. So what we try to do is look at the areas of your life that are affected by having cancer in the family. So your career, your home life, your relationships, even friendships can be affected. Friendships can change enormously when somebody's not well. Sometimes friends don't know what to say. So we ask the friends come in, the relations to come in. We don't offer any difference between what families get, what friends get, or what the people themselves who have cancer get. The support that we offer is the same level of care for everyone that comes in that's affected by that person's cancer.
Now, do you need to make an appointment to come here?
No. That's one of the things that Maggie was very, very clear about. She said, when we had that news, if we'd have had to make an appointment, we wouldn't have been able to react authentically or take the bull by the horns and go for help. So when people want to come to Maggie's, they can just come in. You don't need an appointment. You don't even need a reason. You don't need to explain yourself. Just come in. We'll have a chat. We'll put the kettle on. You can sit down with a professional and we can get down to the talking about what it is that's on your mind. It might be you want to talk about the drugs you're on. It might be you want to talk about side effects of drugs. It might be treatment's ended and you don't know where you go from here. It might be that you've had bad news. And very often in Maggie's, it might be that you've had good news and you want to share that with somebody and share that with your friends in the Maggie Centre.
Tell me a little bit about the volunteers you've got here and also the staff that run Maggie's.
Yeah. Well, we're relying on fundraising, and so we run a fairly lean ship in terms of the members of staff and how many people are on the team. The people that we have here on the team are cancer experts, clinical experts, and so we run a small team so that we can have the best that we can afford. We have the best that is available in the area and we invite them to apply for work here. Running alongside that, we have sessional staff who provide the things we can't, like yoga, exercise. We have a nutritionist that comes in. But then running alongside those are our volunteers. So these people come from all walks of life. Many of them have had cancer themselves or have been carers themselves. And when you think that we know in the UK, 1 in 2 of us will be affected by cancer, that's not really a surprise that the volunteers and the staff would also have experience of their own personal cancer story. And so here at Maggie's Manchester, we are a large centre because we're next to the Christies Hospital, which is a tertiary centre for treatment. We have a lot of visitors coming through, and so we rely on a very large volunteer team. So we have, although we have 7 full-time professionals, we have up to 40 volunteers a week helping us. We've been here for 3 years. Our 3rd birthday was at the end of April. And so far in that time, we've had 46,000 visits from people affected by cancer. So at the moment, I'd say we're seeing about between 100 and 150 people a day who are coming here for help.
Now you're head of Maggie's here
Yes.
at the Christie in Manchester.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Sinead.
Well, I can't not mention my Irish heritage since I'm here with you, Martin. So I was, my mum and dad came here in the 60s to Manchester. My dad was a baker and they came and went, and I was actually born in Dublin and I was reared in Dublin in Tala. So, but I came to live here permanently when I was in my 20s. And I first of all did many other things in my career and eventually settled on nursing when I was in my late 30s. And I've only ever nursed at the Christie. I've only ever wanted to work with cancer patients in my nursing career.
Maggies is a charity and we receive no money from the government or the NHS, so all our money comes from donations, fundraising and gifts in wills.
It must take an enormous amount of money to keep Maggies going every year.
We rely so much on all our supporters to give us that money because otherwise we wouldn't be able to be here at all. We have absolutely fabulous supporters, and it can be anything from something fairly small, whether you're just inviting a few friends round for an afternoon tea or a garden party, to doing a marathon, a half marathon, a 10k, climbing a mountain, cycling a certain distance, doing a swim, or holding a party or a gig. There's absolutely anything people can do to raise money, and it's always best that they do something that they're interested in and they want to do, and then they'll make such a great success of it and really help Maggies as well.
Now, there's a lovely homely atmosphere when you walk into Maggies, and it's such a bright and beautiful place.
It is, absolutely. All our centres feel very warm and welcoming environments, and that's what our visitors find so peaceful, and the tranquility here is lovely, and the light and the airiness of the building. It really helps people relax from the moment they walk through the doors.
Now, for people that might like to donate or run a marathon for you, or
yes,
bake a cake or whatever it might be, how can they do that, and how can they find out a little bit more about Maggies?
Well, they can go online to maggiescentres.org, or if they're able to pop in and see us, one of the fundraising team here, we're always very happy to come and chat to people and see how we can help them and support them in any fundraising they want to do. Or they can give us a call here on our Manchester number 0161 641 4857. We're situated in the grounds of the Christies Hospital, so we're opposite the Christies Hospital, just down the end of a road called Kinnaird Road, just 100 metres or so from the hospital in Manchester.
You do a great job, Ruth. Lovely to meet you. They do a fabulous job here at Maggies. Well done to them all. And if you feel that you could make a donation or do some fundraising for them, well, just give them a call. Now we're going to finish with a little bit of music tonight from the Wild Morpheus Band. Their concert, One Night in Dublin, is currently touring the UK. I hope you enjoy them. Henry McGlade is back next Thursday evening with his show at 7 o'clock, and we are here with the Irish in the UK at 7:30. Until then, take care.
Liverpool that grieves me, but me darling, when I think